Hey guys, as many of you know, my wife Kat and I are attempting to finalize the adoption of our son in Ghana, Africa, and we know that it's a bit difficult sometimes to kind of follow along with all the changes and where we are in the process and everything. So I just thought I'd record this video and let you know where we are today. Over 2 years ago, Kat and I felt the Lord leading us to adopt a child from Africa. And we began the process of adopting an infant boy from Ethiopia in November of 2010. And the process was supposed to take 5 to 8 months and cost about $28,000. But unfortunately, there was major delays in Ethiopia. And at the start of 2013 of this year, our baby nursery at our house still sat empty. Thankfully, though, this past February, we received an email that there was this boy born in Ghana, Africa, that had lost both of his parents and was in urgent need of a family. And so, with 10 days' notice, we packed our bags, we bought flights, we redid our home study to switch countries from Ethiopia to Ghana, and we flew to West Africa together to meet our son. And when we first met Evans, he was 6 months old. He was extremely malnourished and he had malaria. And the Lord clearly told us that when we found out who our son was, that we should have Kat stay in country until the process was complete, rather than kind of meeting him, flying back to the U.S., and then waiting, 5 to 6 months to return to bring him home. And this was really for several reasons. One, we wanted to allow Evans and Kat to experience like true bonding and to give Evans the personal attention that he needed and that he deserved. Secondly, we wanted our adoption to be missional in the sense that we could serve people in our son's culture while we were going through the adoption process. And thirdly, we wanted the transition for Evans to be gradual. He was born in a very rural, like poverty-stricken area up in northern Uganda. And then he spent several weeks in an orphanage, and then he was introduced to us as his parents, and eventually he'll have to make the adjustment into the United States. And so we wanted to kind of ease this in for him. So what we did is, in February, we traveled to Ghana together. We rented a small guest house in the capital city of Accra, and Kat and Evans have been living there since February. My wife Kat, she walks over 3 miles with Evans every morning to the orphanage, and she is teaching school to 8 other children there. I had the opportunity to fly over in February with her and spend a whole week with Evans, and then I returned to the States for Willet tours and meal packing events here. And then, thankfully, I was able to go back to Ghana during Easter and was able to spend a whole nother week with him. And I have to tell you, it's pretty remarkable, like how the Holy Spirit creates this instant attachment within families. It's difficult to describe, like if you've never experienced adoption before. But Evans, even at a young age, he recognizes my voice. And he loves to grab my beard when I'm with him, which is pretty cool. So I think that's, how he remembers me. But we have an attachment, even though him and I have really only spent 2 weeks together, and he is bonding with Kat in Ghana in a remarkable way. So Evans is now 8 months old. His malaria has been healed, and he weighs 15 pounds, thankfully. And so he's growing. He loves to pull himself up in the crib. He laughs all the time, and he's even starting to crawl a little bit. Recently, he started saying mama, which is pretty amazing. Now, I'm trying to work with him to have him say papa, hopefully very soon. So, as you can imagine, both Kat and I are exhausted, like emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Emotionally, from over a 2-year process of paperwork, home studies, fundraising, and waiting. Spiritually, from waiting so long and kind of asking God, like, why is this taking so long, and when will we meet our son? And then recently, physically, from Kat living in Ghana, she's serving at the orphanage and caring for a new baby at the same time in a place where the electricity goes out often. They're constantly running into water shortages, and she really just has a lack of resources and/or friends or family there to help her. So she's getting pretty physically worn down. I'm kind of physically tired from traveling back and forth to Africa, but through this all, man, like we are so encouraged that God's plan is being revealed for our family, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Evans has truly changed our lives, and we cannot wait to get him home. So many of you have been a part of this journey in some way or another over the past 2.5 years, and it absolutely amazes us to watch friends all over the country give money online and send us emails and messages and on Twitter at tweeting us just prayer requests for our son and for our family, and we just can't wait for you to meet him in person. So here we are. We're in the final stage of the adoption process. We know who our son is. Because of the delay, having to switch countries and lots of travel in between, the adoption has turned out to cost more than originally anticipated. But God has been faithful at every single turn, and we've really tried just to communicate to you guys, what is the actual cost for each item, so you know what you're giving towards and you know what's going on. And we wanted to share this brief testimony with you real quick, and I'll let you go. Like I said before, we felt God saying that when we found out who our son was and we initially traveled over to that country to adopt him, that we should have Kat stay in country the whole time. And we knew that this would make it difficult on us being apart for several months at a time. And we knew that this would be difficult for me to have to travel back and forth if I wanted to see, the family. But for some reason, it was very, very clear from God that this is what we should do, rather than just go over together, meet our child, and fly back home and be separated for even more months. And so we made that decision, and in February, like I said, Kat has been there in Ghana ever since. And I just have to tell you this. When I got back from that original trip in February, it wasn't a week had gone by, something like that Ghana made an announcement. It's really actually hard to find online because it's not being publicized too much for some reason. But Ghana decided to close most of its doors to international adoptions. There's like one agency that you can still go through. They shut down private adoptions. They're closing orphanages. There's this organization that's involved with it, shutting these things down for some reason. And through this announcement, though, they shared that if you are a United States citizen living in Ghana, then you are able to still complete an international adoption. And when we found that out, we were blown away by how the Lord had led our family even years ago. I mean, when we started this process in 2010, we made the decision that Kat would live in country until we could bring our son home. And so there has been many ups and downs. There's been red tape. There's been paperwork issues. We're about to go to court, hopefully here at the end of April, if you can pray for that. But every single time something has come up, we have seek the Lord for direction, and He has found a way to make it happen. And we are claiming God's promises that we will be able to bring our son Evans home by this summer, regardless of the changes happening in Ghana, even as today. So, as many of you know, we set up a little website. It's simpleregistry.com/Jeremy and Kat Willet. And basically what we've done is we've just posted the final needs. The final needs that we have is $10,000 to $12,000 based on some of the travel. But we've outlined what all those specific needs are. And we've even broken up the cost into really tangible ways like $100, $200 donations to help us meet this goal. So we encourage you to visit this website and find out how you can be a part of bringing baby Evans home. And if you're on Twitter, we'd love to see your prayer requests for our family. You can use the hashtag #PrayEvansHome. That's EVANS, #PrayEvansHome. And we're following along that hashtag and just watching the prayer requests roll in. So we appreciate you guys, and we thank you for walking with us through this really long process. But you will see when you meet Evans and you see us together as a family of 3, you will see that this whole thing has been absolutely worth it. So thank you for your prayers. We give God the glory for what He's doing. See ya.